Okay, so we've kind of looked at the causes of World War I, those long, impactful causes that go with the acronym MAIN. And we looked at the main initial cause, which was the assassination of Archduke Francis Ferdinand and his wife. And then we kind of looked at the different styles of warfare during World War I. And now, we're looking at Standard 18a, examine the major political and economic factors that shape the world societies between World War I and World War II. So this kind of pushes into the next unit, the world between the two world wars. And we're only going to look at the first part of element A to determine the causes of the Russian Revolution. That's all we're going to do. Okay? And so what I want you to see, so when World War I ends, and you can see this is a Russian group of protesters, the people of Russia were incredibly upset with their leader, Tsar Nicholas II. They felt it was his fault that they were involved in the war. They felt that it took too much of a toll on their nation and their people as a whole. And so the royal family and the Tsar spent a really good amount of their time, not with the people, not making decisions for the nation, but with their own family, okay? They even brought in a Russian peasant who was a priest named Rasputin. But he wasn't your typical priest. He drank a whole lot. He was a womanizer. He really wasn't the ideal priest that you would think of, especially when we had talked about, the Middle Ages and that time period. And because the leader wasn't very focused on what the people needed and wanted, and because they spent too much time away from the Russian people as a whole, and also because Russia wasn't industrialized like the rest of the world. They weren't industrialized like all those Western European nations like France and Germany and Great Britain and the United States. They weren't prepared to really enter another war. While all of that is happening, that Tsar Nicholas is not paying attention to is that the peasants are starving. Like, people don't have food. They're dying in the streets. All of the casualties from the war itself weren't addressed. Russia also didn't have a good infrastructure. They didn't have, healthcare and education and roads and highways and things. It just wasn't a nation that was really set up to take care of its people. And there was no real equitable distribution of land. So, most people didn't have any land to farm on, so they were going to starve. And so it just kind of encouraged the plight of the Russian people. So the Russian people are going to revolt, and they're going to overthrow their Tsar, and we'll get into that in the next unit. Now, the next slide, I'm going to stop here. The next slide is a video. So if you want a little more in-depth look at the Russian Revolution and the politics, that would be a really good intro into the next unit after this. So you can pull the PowerPoint on Teams, and you can go in and look at that video. That's why this looks blank, okay?